All right, let's get it. I'm ready to rock and roll, all juiced up here because the Lakers picked up a massive win over the New York Knicks last night. It is the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I am Chase Sr. I thought the Lakers win over New York last night. One of the best regular season NBA games that I've seen this year. Went into overtime, two heavyweights going back and forth, trading punches, and it was so physical because both teams had so much riding on this game. Lakers trying to survive to either get into the playoff race or the play-in tournament. Knicks trying to lock down that 4 seed, and you could tell there was just so much at stake. In the end, Lakers survive 101-99. Talen Horton-Tucker with a massive 3 to win it for the Lake Show, holding off a red-hot Knicks team led by Julius Randle, the former Laker, who was really good last night. 31 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Derrick Rose played really well too, 27 points for him. But I want to get to what I liked from the Lakers in that victory last night. Anthony Davis didn't have his best game from the field. He was like 8 of 23, but he showed so much will. Had a groin injury late in that game that you could see was nagging him, but he pushed through and he was tough because he realized the Lakers needed that victory. Kyle Kuzma, he also stepped up. Hit more than 20 points, hitting big shots in the process. He looked like he was having a blast out there because he was super into it. He realized what was at stake too. You could just tell that the Lakers from the get-go, from the tip, understood, hey, as a culture, we need to come together and rise up to the occasion because we need to set ourselves up for future success, whether that be in the play-in or the playoffs. Andre Drummond, he was awesome as well. I'm going to show you the 16 points and 18 rebounds here, but as we've seen with him in a Lakers uniform, a much better passer than what he gets credit for. He found some guys with some dimes last night and thought he just brought a level of energy to the Lakers that was much needed, and I mentioned THT. 8 overtime points, big shot after big shot, a young player developing before our eyes, and when it comes down to it, a character win for the Lakers in a big spot. What do you think, Laker Nation? Was that one of the best Lakers wins of the year, given everything at stake with the playoffs and the play-in right on the horizon? Type Y for yes or type N for no. Let's take a look at the Western Conference standings and where the Lakers are right now with the victory over the Knicks last night. Jazz and Suns in those 1 and 2 spots, followed by the Clippers, Nuggets, and Blazers. So the Blazers and Mavericks last night flip-flop from 5 to 6, and there are the Lakers, 39 and 30, 1 game back from the Mavericks, within striking distance of the Portland Trail Blazers for 5th place, even though they are really streaking. And if they want to continue to make up ground, they only have 3 games left to do so in the regular season before the play-in tournament starts on May 18th. They play the Rockets tonight. LeBron expected to come back, which we'll get to here in just a second. Pacers on the 15th, and they round out the regular season against the New Orleans Pelicans on Sunday. A lot could be at stake on Sunday, and it could be like an NCAA tournament feel because all of the games in the NBA are going to be in one specific window with a lot of playoff implications at stake. Speaking of the playoff picture, here's how everything is shaking out. NBA regular season, it's going to end on Sunday, as I mentioned. Top 6 teams in each conference automatically make the playoffs. 7 through 10 seeds qualify for the play-in tournament. Are the Lakers going to be a 5 or 6 seed? Are they going to drop to 7 or 8th? We'll see. It's only a matter of time. When it comes to Sunday, that's when we'll find out. Are you pumped up for this final stretch of games? 3 left for the Lakers to make some things happen. Type O for oh yeah. Type L for let's get it. I'm going to go ahead and type O and L, and I'm going to say, oh yeah, let's get it. And if you're not pumped up for these final 3 games, you should be, because LeBron James is expected to rejoin the Lakers tonight against the Rockets. According to reports, LeBron is going to try to give it a go. He was thinking about coming back against the Knicks, elected to give himself another day of rest, last played on the 2nd in a loss to the Toronto Raptors, left that game in the 4th quarter in that loss because his ankle was tender. And good news is, he was a full participant in practice on Monday. I saw a family LeBron James TikTok. He seemed like he had some bounce in his step. And according to his teammates, they're saying LeBron is just going to be fine. He's 36 years old. I'm not sure how he looks this good. He's on that Tom Brady avocado ice cream diet, maybe. Both of them spend millions of dollars a year on their bodies. I think LeBron is going to be just fine. Let's wrap up and kind of summarize what's been going on with LBJ. Missed 6 weeks originally when he first got hurt in March against the Atlanta Hawks. He saw an ankle specialist last week, and it's a good time for him to come back, and maybe this was by design, because against the Rockets, the Lakers will be raising the 2020 NBA Finals championship banner. 3,000 fans expected at the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. Are you ready to see that banner raised? It was a weird season last year. The championship happened in the bubble. It was the Lakers' 17th, tied for the Celtics for the most in NBA history. Type R for raise it. Type C for celebrate it. Get your votes in the comment section below. I don't know about you all, but I know me. I love to wager and gamble on sports. And the deal that we have, thanks to our sportsbook partner from BetUS, it's almost make-believe. It's almost too good to be true. If you put down a $100 bonus deposit, you get a 125% deposit bonus, meaning you can turn $100 into $225. I am not lying, I promise you. How do you do all of this? You can get this applied to your account only if you go to chatsports.com/Lakers and enter the promo code Lakers125. Maybe you want to bet on some NFL over-unders. Maybe you want to bet on the NBA MVP odds. Or maybe you want to put some money down on the Lakers against the Houston Rockets at the Staples Center. Crowd's going to be juiced up raising that championship banner. Lakers going to be juiced up raising that championship banner. And according to Vegas, Lakers are 13-point favorites. I kind of like that number because the Rockets stink. Over-under at 224. So once again, if you put down a $100 deposit, you get a 125% deposit bonus. $100 into $225 just like that by signing up at chatsports.com/Lakers and you enter the promo code Lakers125. BetUS is killing it, and you can kill it with your bets if you use that link. Looking ahead, a big question for the Lakers entering this offseason, what are they going to do at point guard moving forward? Dennis Schroeder is set to be a free agent, and there are some really intriguing, big-name superstar point guards who are going to be available on the market. Mike Conley of the Utah Jazz is going to be a free agent. Chris Paul could hit the open market as well if he decides to out of his contract with the Phoenix Suns. Kyle Lowry going to be a free agent with the Toronto Raptors. We know that the Lakers were interested in him leading up to the NBA trade deadline. My question for the Lakers in terms of the point guard position, are they going to go young or are they going to go with a veteran who maybe helps that championship window right now with LeBron being 36 years old? Speaking of Dennis Schroeder, let's touch on him for a second because, as I mentioned, he's going to be a free agent after this season. We covered this on the channel back a couple months ago, but according to Brian Windhorst of ESPN, Dennis Schroeder already turned down a contract extension from the Lakers worth $80+ million. Now, Dennis Schroeder has been good this year. He hasn't been great. Not as good as what he was with OKC last year when he put together a career season. Frank Vogel really likes them, though. Back in March, he said, quote, Dennis Schroeder is as vital as any player on our team. And when you look at his numbers, it's easy to see why he brings value to the Lakers lineup. 15.5 points per game, little less than 6 assists, 3.5 rebounds, shooting a respectable nearly 34% from three-point range, and is a quality playmaker for this Lakers lineup. The only thing is, how much money is Dennis Schroeder going to demand on the open market when there are point guard needy teams across the NBA who are going to be looking to bring him in and maybe overpay for Dennis Schroeder, giving him, let's say, $15 to $20+ million. And as we know, the Lakers are somewhat cap strapped. I want to pose this question for Lakers fans watching. Should the Lakers re-sign Dennis Schroeder? Get your votes in the comment section below. Type R for re-sign, type P for pass. Let's focus on Mike Conley. Could this be a point guard option that the Lakers are interested in? And could they go after Mike Conley, who some believe would be a great fit for this Lakers offense rather than a guy like Chris Paul, because his style of being a ball-dominant point guard kind of conflicts with LeBron's style of him being ball-dominant. Mike Conley is in the final year of a 5-year, $152.5 million deal when he got the max back a few years ago. And in this year, been playing really well. Made it to his first All-Star game, which was probably overdue. But look, I mean, there are a bunch of great guards across the NBA, which is why Mike Conley didn't make it to an All-Star game until this season as a reserve and a late replacement. It's been really, really good this year, folks. 16.5 points per game, dishing the ball out at a pretty good rate as well. I'm focusing on the field goal percentage and the three-point percentage here because he's shooting 44.5% from the deck, and from long range, nearly 41%. Wasn't great with the Jazz last year, but his second year in Quinn Snyder's system, Mike Conley has been really, really good for the Utah Jazz. And while he is 33 years old and has dealt with some injury issues in the past, I think Mike Conley could be a really viable and elite option for the Lakers if they decide not to pay Dennis Schroeder and pay Mike Conley, not the contract that he got previously, the max worth more than $150 million. He's going to come cheaper at that, but the thought process from Rob Pelinka is probably this. Do we go young? Do we go old? If we think we can win the championship next year, maybe the best option is Mike Conley. We'll see. Who do you pick if you're Rob Pelinka running the Lakers? And you got to make a decision at point guard. Is it going to be Dennis Schroeder? If so, type DS. Is it going to be Mike Conley? Type MC. So Mike Conley, 33 years old. Here's my rule when it comes to paying free agents. Don't pay great for good. Okay, Mike Conley, he's a good player. Is he trending toward great? Has he been great throughout his career? Probably. He's 33 years old, though. And if he's willing to take a team-friendly deal, then I would pay Mike Conley, even though he is 33 years old, because 1, I think he'd be a good fit. 2, he helps the current championship window. 3, he's a really good player, and I think he'd be pretty lethal in addition alongside of LeBron James. The Lakers report, we're making it happen here. We're pushing out videos multiple days every single week. So go to youtube.com/LakersTV. Subscribe to the Lakers Report by hitting that big red button down below, or go to youtube.com/LakersTV and subscribe for the best Lakers coverage here on YouTube.